have to thank to all the people that was involved in this project, especially the people in Maitland, because really work in a very professional way for ITU, of course the staff of ITU and the committees, especially because I think the environment was really beautiful, and this has always helped to have success in works that you are doing.
So ITU wanted us to have a program based on what could be the sport in the near future. I think this program is really of interest not only for sports scientists but mainly for coaches and real triathlon people. And I'm very happy we have so many triathlon people here coming from 30 different countries.
Oh yeah, I think it's fantastic to gather together all the people who are interested in moving triathlon forward, in doing research to improve the performances of our athletes. The presentations are really good, the interaction with other coaches and other sports scientists are really interesting, and I think this type of conference contributes a lot to the betterment of the performance of the athletes and the quality of the sport and the product that we are trying to sell, which at the end of the day is having great races and fantastic performances from the triathlon athletes.
Yeah, it's a big step forward. It was very helpful to have the first congress in Alicante, but there we have a lot of participants are students, and now here we have nearly 150 people from 30 nations, and we have around 60 to 70% only coaches, and these are the main group we want to talk with.
Well, I've not been to one of these conferences before, and I guess we try to stay in the background a lot of the time, but it's great to come and meet the other coaches and the scientists and for them to know who we are. It helps us to interact with them.
Triathlon is suitable for such a conference because it consists of 3 sports, so you can attract experts from each sport, you can learn from each discipline, from swimming, from cycling, from running, but this sport has its own identity, so you have to transfer everything into the whole into the whole triathlon, and I think that's something which is very important, that we develop identity and that we don't think that triathlon is just a summary of cycling, swimming and running.
I get the feeling that it is a good connection between the practical aspects of training and the sports science. And you have sports scientists that think like athletes and coaches, and you have coaches who appreciate the science. And when you can bring those people together, you can learn things.
I mean, we have a group of speakers with a very high knowledge of triathlon, and it's also a very, very good possibility for all of us, coaches, directors, to speak when it's the off season. So it's a very good way to start the season with very fresh news about triathlon.
I mean, it's really interesting to find out what the latest literature is out there, because often when you're working with the sports and on the road all the time, it's hard to actually find out what that latest research is. Also, it's been really valuable talking to other coaches and discovering sort of different aspects that they're doing. So not only just the presentation side of things, but the actual interactional side of things in between them has been very valuable.
Meeting other people from different countries and the enthusiasm they have about triathlon, and also presenting our paper and saying that what we did is equally what is happening in other countries, because I can see that triathlon is not only new in Nigeria, but it's also new in some other countries, and they're trying to promote it the way we are trying to promote ours. So it's great meeting them and sharing experience, and we hope we can partner with them so that we can grow faster.
the sport has made so much progress, and I'm so excited by this conference. In the U.S., we started our sport and science with a lot of science background, and now we meld the science with the practical blending. And here I come here for a lot of the real pure science, and I just love the science because I personally, as a coach, love to blend the science with the practical application. How can I take this and employ it with my athletes right away?
There's a hunger to do things better, and that's true in all the different sports. So it's always fun to be around these guys.
I think we have to start more and more to come together, the coaches with the scientists. They are working for this themselves, but they need more input from the coaches' side. And this, I hope, we will get for the next 4 years for the new period of the Olympics.
And you've got a really, within the ITU, a good structure in place in terms of being able to track data, basically. The biggest issue at the moment is we don't have a lot of information to work off, and so if we were able to use the systems that are in place and the structure that's in place to put some data tracking, whether it's injuries or whether it's even body composition itself. What is the current level of body composition and physique of athletes across different ages? We just don't really know. So I think the ITU is in a unique position to be able to have some information that they collate. Yes, it could cross over other disciplines as well, but I think the ITU can be a leader in this, and actually proactively sort of try and put in place some safety precautions for the athletes and some systems that support those athletes over time.
Yeah, the ITU are doing a fine job. They need to retain the best of what we've got whilst at the same time innovating, and that's quite a challenge, and at the same time making sure that keeping the athlete at the heart of the principle is really what is happening. And I think if they do those three things, keep the athlete at the centre of it and the athlete's considerations, at the same time retaining the best of what we have at the moment, and then innovation at the same as well, they'll do fine. But the track record of the ITU over the last sort of 8 years is excellent.
It would be good to have a permanent research group that should try to answer questions that are brought about by the coaches. So if we had a flexible group that would integrate different experts at different times, we could be more flexible and reactive to the necessities of the coaches, and that would help carrying the sport forward and improving the quality of the sport, and not only in the particular countries that are carrying out the research, but everywhere in every country that has elite level or age group level triathletes trying to improve their performance.
We need this time, we need this space. All these coaches are working really hard every day. Sometimes we don't have time to contact with the real world in different moments. Usually we only speak to each other on race sites, on some training camps, but over here it's a different way to share knowledge. So I believe if we can do it every year, it's very good, but if not possible, every 2 years we really need to have these moments to share knowledge.
You have to organize opportunities to exchange. So like this evening of today, that coaches come together, that they have to stand, that they have to change places, and so you learn to know other people, you learn to exchange. That's also something which is very important, that you're not only delivering knowledge to the people, but that you also organize opportunities to exchange, to network over the conventional borders the coaches usually use.
I'm a medical doctor, and so this conference is always very, very exciting to me. It also enlightens me on areas that I've not been looking into, and therefore I'm always very, very excited coming for this kind of conference. And that's what I've been able to gather since we've been here. A lot of things that have happened before, and we're going to use all these to plan for tomorrow, for the future. This is basically what I like about this particular second conference. It's talking about what we've done before and how we can use the lessons learned to improve on what we're going to do in the future.
Well, my congratulations tie to you for an excellent event. The quality of the science that's being delivered here is excellent. There's a nice variety in terms of poster presentations, roundtable discussions, expert panels, and different talks that are of good quality and of interest for those in the family of triathlon.
If you achieve that the triathlon family is growing together, that coaches over the country borders start to discuss with each other, that scientists understand the demands of the coaches, the language of the coaches, and the coaches understand the language of the scientists. That's one of the biggest aims. I think when we arrive there, that would be great.
There's a new sport. Things are changing. They're still changing quite rapidly. So one of the things we come to this conference to learn about is where is the sport heading in the future, and do we need to make adaptations to keep up with that? I think it's very important for us to be close to what's happening, what's going to happen, so that we're not a step behind. We're actually there, or preferably ahead of the changes.
My opinion is also very important to know that we are ready to develop in other part of the world. And the next one should be in 2 years' time, and still we need to evaluate what we had here, and just I think that we will have a lot of elements to decide the best place for placing the third one.